Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is a little bit different, but it is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a really long time. That is about listening to your gut, and I'm gonna share a story with you while I'm doing my makeup about a time where I listened to my gut while I was shopping alone in Target because I was made to feel very uncomfortable by a man. But it wasn't even necessarily what he said or what he did, it was just this feeling and instinct that I had within me, and I knew I needed to get out of there and be safe. So I'm gonna tell you all about that story. I think that personal safety is really important, and if you know better, you do better. So I'm always looking for personal safety tips, especially in Canada where we can't have like tasers and mace and stuff. So in this video, I'm just getting ready and I'm gonna share with you my story of effing politeness. If you listen to My Favorite Murder, one thing I just wanna say is effing politeness does not mean going around with like your middle fingers up in the air. That's not what it means at all. It doesn't mean not having common courtesy. However, what it does mean is that when you're in situations where you don't feel safe and when you don't feel, you know, right, it's okay to be like, you know what, I gotta go. You don't have to like make sure the other person is 100% satisfied because you need to protect numero uno, yourself. I shared this story on Instagram a few months ago, but I just felt like talking about it, and I'm actually kind of interested in maybe doing some sort of self-defense class meetup. It's definitely something that I would be interested in doing, so if you are also interested in that, let me know. I would not be teaching the class. I would find someone and we'd probably have to pay a fee, just like when you're in high school and you have to pay like $25 to do it. So let me know what you think about that. I'm gonna go ahead and go. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this get ready with me. I didn't really cover every single step that I was doing in this video. However, if you do want a detailed list of products that I used in my shades, it's in the down bar as usual. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So to start things off, I just want to let you know what I have on my face currently. So this morning while I was doing my hair, I put on a good layer of the Drunk Elephant Baby Facial. I'm pretty sure I just talked about it in my pamper routine video if you want more information about it, or in my skincare video if you missed that. So after I rinsed off the baby facial, I did apply a vitamin C serum, and I've been trying the SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic Vitamin C Serum. They sent this to me. I've heard of SkinCeuticals before, but I had never really tried it, so I was really excited to give this a go. And so far, I really like it. For my moisturizer, I'm just gonna take a little bit of the Drunk Elephant Lala Retro Whipped Cream. This is a very rich cream. I don't even take a full pump. I feel like it just gives my skin a good base and helps everything look hydrated. Do you see that? Like, it's very thick. So I take the time to work it in, kind of massage my face, get it underneath my eyes, kind of do a little bit of a lymphatic drainage massage with my hands. Basically, I wanted to tell a little bit of a story today about a time where I really needed to F politeness. And if you follow me on Instagram, you may remember this story. I'm still thinking about it because I just feel like this is something that a lot of people, whether you're a man or a woman, you'll probably have experienced something like this. And when I talked about it on Instagram, a lot of you guys were like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have thought to do what you did. It's a good thing that you listen to your instincts. And so I really just wanted to talk about that today because especially in this world, I mean, I just feel like you never know what can happen. I personally find it really scary, the fact that like you just never know, like Walmart's, movie theaters, like not even just about like gun violence, but violence against people in general. Like, it's a very scary time in my opinion. We're raised to be polite. So this story takes place, I'm pretty sure, I think it was January of this year. I was visiting Sierra in Pennsylvania one night. I think she was working and I was like, you know what, I want to go to Target. I was looking for something, probably some sort of limited edition Mrs. Meyer's cleaning scent, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to Target. I can't remember what she was doing, but I ended up going to Target alone, which is not a weird thing. That's not something that I was like, oh, I should be careful about, you know? Like, in my mind, it's Target. I did go a little bit later at night. I went at like 8:30 because at least in Montreal, a lot of stores here close either at 9 or 5. But in the States, a lot of stores stay open until 11 or even like all night. I know I'm such a basic person that for me, it's fun to go to a store past 9 o'clock or like close to 9 o'clock, but that's just how I am. Like, I'm a simple person. Trying a fun new flavor of chips gets me excited. Like, I'm very easy to please. Not that it matters what I was wearing, but it was like end of the day, nighttime. I was probably wearing leggings, my black like sheepskin looking jacket. So I was just going to Target to just browse, kill some time. How often do I get to go to Target at this time? It's pretty much a dead zone. Like, there's not many cars. The parking lot's pretty empty, so obviously I say to myself, okay, I'm gonna park as close to the door as possible. I get a cart and it is silent, which is a little strange because I'm not sure, but at most like shops, there's normally some background music. You know when a store is just eerily quiet, like there's no background music, like you can just hear every step someone takes? There really wasn't a lot of people. Like the Starbucks was closed. I had free reign of this Target. Like I could just like run through the aisles, like, and like there was really no one there. I end up going towards the food. The food is like the last thing I'm gonna check out before I leave, and I knew I wanted to get these Cheez-Its while I was there. They're the Cheez-It Snap. They're really thin. The jalapeno ones are so good. They're my favorite. So I'm just minding my own business, looking for the Cheez-Its, and I'm pushing a cart. So I'm walking down the aisle, like, you know, between the home and the food aisles, like where, you know, you can walk down the food aisles, there's like the refrigeration area. And so I'm just walking down the middle, and there's this man, and he doesn't have a cart or anything, which at first I wasn't that creeped out about, because I'm like, okay, there's sometimes I just run in, I don't necessarily need a giant cart because Target doesn't have the little carts. We make eye contact because I'm really trying to be better about like making eye contact with people. I don't have an issue making eye contact when I'm talking to people, but I'm actually a very shy person. So like when I'm walking alone, I kind of think I have like a resting bitch face, or like I just look sort of dazed and confused. It's something that I'm working on, and I'm trying to like be pleasant. Not that I'm not pleasant, but I actually am very shy and like anxious. And so when I'm just like walking alone, I'm not like trying to make eye contact with every single person, because it's like personally a little bit overwhelming for me. So I kind of like see this guy, I'm pushing my cart, just like going along. I probably go like nothing crazy. I was wearing a hat, so it's not like we could have had this crazy eye contact. I am looking for my Cheez-Its, my Cheez-It Snap. That's all I wanted. I just wanted my good jalapeno Cheez-It Snaps. So I'm in the aisle looking. I guess I was standing a little bit like this, like a little bit diagonally, and he comes from the blind spot from the corner, and he goes,
"Excuse me, I don't normally do this, but I just needed to tell you that you're so beautiful."
You know, right away, around that time actually, there was this big like social media thing going around in Montreal about this girl who had been approached at Concordia by a few different guys, basically saying the same thing. "You're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah." So as soon as he says that, I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm not someone who's like, oh, I'm so beautiful. Everyone knows I'm beautiful. Everyone thinks I'm beautiful. Like when someone compliments me, I truly do appreciate it. He says like, "You're so beautiful," and I'm like, basically, "Thank you." Oh, like, oh, thank you. You know, like, what am I supposed to say? He proceeds to ask me my name, and at that point, my alarm bells and like my gut instinct just start to go off, because I'm thinking, number one, I am in this like isolated Target. There is no one really around. Call it paranoid. Maybe this guy was so nice, and that's something I wanted to talk about, because for so long I was the type that if someone complimented me, even if I have a boyfriend, I'm not interested in like really compliments from other guys. But in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, they had to work up the courage to approach me or approach any girl. Like, I don't want them to be like, I don't know, like, you know, some girls are like, thanks. I started getting like a little bit of like that gut instinct. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't actually listen to, because I feel like we're taught from such a young age, oh, politeness, and this isn't a new concept. Like obviously if you listen to My Favorite Murder, one of their catchphrases is fuck politeness. I think there's a difference between kindness and politeness. I think that being polite, like there is a limit. You should be polite. You should definitely be polite and gracious and kind, but if you're uncomfortable, you don't have to be polite. Now, I'm not saying you have to go scream, "Screw you, leave me alone," but you don't owe these people anything, and that's something that I needed to remind myself. I was in the aisle alone with him, and I started thinking, I'm in the back of Target. I haven't seen an employee. I haven't seen another soul, another customer here. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what he wants. For all I know, he could be the nicest guy in the world, or he could be someone creepy and someone that doesn't have good intentions. It was in that moment that I said, you know, even if I feel a little bit stupid or a little bit dumb, I'm gonna listen to my gut instincts and I'm going to protect myself. He ended up asking me my name, and I was like, oh, I'm Allie. He said, hi. I'm not gonna say his name because it honestly doesn't even matter. He was like, can I get your number? And I was like, oh, like I'm actually just visiting a friend from Canada right now. Like I'm leaving in a few days. I didn't want to anger him by saying I had a boyfriend. You know, I didn't know if he'd be like, oh, all girls have boyfriends, like, and make like, I don't know. I just didn't know how he would react. And then he kept persisting. Can I just get your number and we could do something like before you go back? And I'm like, oh, I'm pretty busy. I'm leaving soon and I want to spend time with my best friend. And it was at that moment that I was like, I need to leave. I need to separate myself. I need to get near someone. I need need to be not isolated alone with this guy because I don't feel safe. And it was like this gut instinct in my stomach. And you know, the gut is referred to as like our second brain. And I think that a lot of times people are scared to listen to their gut instincts because they're like, I don't want to be seen as rude. So after I decided that I needed to leave that area of Target, I was like, okay, without my Cheez-Its, by the way, I didn't even get my Cheez-Its after all of that. I was like, okay, well, have a good night, like, nice meeting you. And I started beelining it to the front of the store. His energy was making me uncomfortable, and it wasn't even like the way he looked. Attractiveness is subjective. He wasn't a bad looking guy, but I was like, there was just something in me that gave me a bad feeling about him. Could this have been completely over exaggerated in my mind? Absolutely, but I can't explain it. It was my gut feeling where I said, this wasn't right. I've had guys approach me before and compliment me before, and I didn't get that feeling. So as soon as I got out of the aisle with him, I called my sister and I was like, hey Tony, like, just wondering, do you need anything at Target? And then once I got a little bit out of earshot from him, I was like, Tony, I don't give a shit if you need anything from Target. I'll get you whatever you need from Target tomorrow. I'm just calling because I had this really weird experience and I didn't feel safe and I wanted to be on the phone and I wanted you to know what was going on. I start pushing the cart to the front of the store, and out of the corner of my eyes, I'm like trying to play it really cool, but out of the corner of my eye, I can see that he is sort of staying behind me, but like looking at his phone, but like almost following me to the front. And I'm like, that's weird. I got to the cash and there was like one cash open, and it was a younger girl. She was probably like around my age or maybe a little bit younger. And I said, I'm really sorry if this is weird, but I was just approached by this man and he made me feel really uncomfortable, and I was wondering if someone could walk me to my car, because the parking lot was so isolated and so empty when I had walked in that the last thing I wanted was to walk out to my car and then be like, I don't know, he was on his phone, so like, God knows, maybe he had a little companion. They were so great at this Target. The cashier called over, I guess her manager, and it was another woman who came over and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, sweetie, was it someone who worked here? And I was like, no, it's probably nothing, but I just want to be like, I'd rather be safe than sorry, because at the end of the day, you know, I could avoid those feelings and I could have walked to my car, and you know, chances are I probably would have been okay. Let's say, knock on wood, on the flip side, I walk out of Target, there's someone by the front door waiting to grab me and I'm thrown into a car. How devastatingly dumb would I feel if I hadn't listened? Not that people who get abducted are dumb, because that's not what I want to say. All I'm saying is, I personally, if I had ignored those feelings and just decided, oh, like whatever, it's probably just like a weirdo or anything like that. If I had just decided to go to my car alone and then I was like blindsided and grabbed or taken, I would have been like, fuck, I should have just asked and told someone and had someone walk me to my car. When I talked about this on Instagram, a lot of you guys were like, oh my gosh, that's so smart, I never would have even thought about it. I don't know where I had originally heard that, to do that, but at the time, that just seemed like the smartest thing for me to do, because I didn't want to just be walking out on a phone and then, you know, the phone drops. I'd rather just have someone else with me. I just think that it's important to talk about stuff like this, because I think a lot of times people might feel silly, or they just think that they're being paranoid, when in reality you just never know. Like that girl who posted her experiences at Concordia, or there's stuff in train stations. I mean, it happens all over the place. Human trafficking happens all over the place. It's scary, but it's true. I think it's fucked up that we live in a world where, you know, you have to think about things like this, but that is just, you know, our reality. It's better to be safe than sorry. I'm someone who is pretty confident in myself. I haven't always been. I got to thinking and I was like, if someone doesn't have good self-esteem, a random man approached them saying, oh, I don't normally do this, but you're so beautiful and I just needed to tell you. It got me thinking, like, maybe some people, men, women, doesn't matter, girls, boys, let's say you're someone who's like, you guys know what I mean, and then you have this man approaching you saying, oh, he doesn't normally do this, you're so beautiful. I think that it is normal for people to be a little bit blinded and to feel like complimented. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, because our guts are very, you know, our bodies are very telling if we listen to them. If someone had been recording a clip of that entire interaction at Target, there would be people who would watch that and they would say, this guy did nothing wrong. All he did was compliment you and ask you for your number. There was just something about the way he made me feel, the energy that I felt. So what if you reject them? They'll get back up. You're not the end all be all. You know what I mean? I ended up leaving Target and it was actually a pretty scary experience. And now that I'm saying it really doesn't sound that scary. It sounds like I just kind of overreacted. It was like the air in Target changed and I just knew I needed to get out of there. I know that there are a lot of stories like this. It's very concerning for younger girls or even people my age, because if you're not in a good place, like in your self-esteem, and you have this guy coming up to you saying, oh my God, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful. For some people that might be what they really need to hear, you know what I mean? It's not anyone's fault except for the creepos who are doing shit like this, and it's messed up, and myself included. I need to learn how to F politeness, and I'm learning that now, because for so long I was always so concerned about, oh, like other people, how are other people gonna feel? But I also have to worry about how I'm gonna feel, and I have to not worry about other people's feelings, because to a certain extent, okay? I don't need to worry about this guy in Target. I don't need to worry about his feelings. I don't give him my number, he'll get over it. There's, you know, it's not a huge deal, but it's not right for people to make women, especially women alone, feel that uncomfortable. You just need to listen to yourself and listen to the feelings. Like, even if you're out somewhere and you're like, this just doesn't feel right to me, that's okay for it not to feel right to you. You don't have to like stay in a situation, or just, you have to put yourself first. And that's something that I have had to learn. I just don't want people to think that I think being uncomfortable is bad, because I think that a lot of times you do need to make yourself uncomfortable. But when someone else is making you uncomfortable and those alarm bells are going off and you just have that gut feeling that you're like, something's not right, I think that it is important to listen. I actually really do want to take a self-defense class, and I think, like, not that it would be a meetup or anything, but I think from what I've seen on like online and from talking to people, I think a lot of you guys would also like a self-defense class. So like, I would love to do sort of like a meetup, but it's like a self-defense class. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that. And like, I don't even know how I would organize that, but I think that would be something fun to do. I think that there's places that like go to schools and stuff, so maybe they have like gyms where they can do like private trainings. If you guys have any stories like that where you just listened to your gut instinct and got out of a situation, I don't know if this guy had bad intentions or good intentions. All I know is that whatever his intentions were made me feel really okay. This mascara by Revlon So Fierce is actually super good. A lot of times when you think about creepy people, you think about like creepy old men, and that in your head, like, you imagine that's what like a creeper is gonna look like, but creepers come in all different shapes and sizes. That's one thing I've learned from all the true crime that I read. I also got some messages from you guys asking if I was gonna be doing any true crime videos. I've talked about this before. I don't know. I get way too emotionally invested and I can't detach. It's very hard as an empath. So I don't think that I will be coming back in the same way. There are some cases that I would like to discuss, so maybe sort of just like a get ready with me, but not like the makeup girl who does beauty videos. I forget her name. She does like, she gets ready and talks about stuff. It would be more like my opinion. So let me know if you guys want a video like that, because there's a case that I definitely want to talk about. Scott Peterson. I've been reading a lot of books about him. Is he innocent? Is he not? I don't know. I don't think he is. I don't think he got a fair trial, but I also don't think that he's innocent. That is pretty much my get ready with me for today. I hope you guys got what I was trying to say. I would love if you shared any of your similar experiences in the comments down below, or any tips or tricks that you learned, or maybe tips that were passed down from your parents or grandparents or whoever about personal safety. I guess the whole point of the video, and what I really wanted to drive home with you guys, is to listen to your gut. And it's better to feel a little bit silly asking maybe for an escort to your car than the alternative. And I'm not saying that everyone is bad and that everyone's out to get you, but I think that when your body is telling you something that you can't explain, you need to listen to it, and I'm very happy that I did in that situation. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. All of the products that I used will be listed in the down bar down below, along with my shades. I hope you guys had a great day or night depending on when you watch this, and I'll talk to you soon.